The Lebanon Leprechauns 2024 season is here. The team tips off this year's campaign on Friday. And to get us geared up, we've got Team President Preston Myers and Leprechaun Ron Washington on the podcast. The team has some returning players, some new guys, and this year's squad will be playing on a different court inside the Farmers Bank Fieldhouse. A season preview is coming your way. Episode 155 of the Lebanon podcast starts now.
Welcome to the Lebanon podcast, highlighting all the great things happening in Lebanon, Indiana. Have an idea for an episode? Send an email to lebanon@lebanon.in.gov.
Well, hey, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Lebanon podcast. I'm Joe LePage, the Community Development Director for the City of Lebanon. Leprechauns basketball, everybody. We love it here in the City of Lebanon and beyond. We've got Leprechauns basketball tipping up later on this week to help get us ready for Leprechaun season. We've got Preston Myers. He is the head guy. He's the head honcho, the head leprechaun, if you will. That's not the official title on his business card. We've also got Ron Washington, one of the players for the Lebanon Leprechauns, joining us this time around. Guys, thanks for being here on the podcast. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Always a pleasure to sit and talk basketball.
And I appreciate you continuing this interview, Preston, after I called you the head leprechaun. That's probably...
Technically, it's Team President, but I'll answer to just about anything.
How excited are you, Mr. Team President, to get this year going? You got new digs, a revamped roster, and you look ready to go.
I am absolutely ready to go. Truthfully, last year I was so ready to be over with a tough season that anything could be better than last year. And I'm really excited about the talent we've got on this year's team and being able to kind of open up the Farmers Bank Fieldhouse here in town, sort of see what that takes us and, see where the league goes from here. We're every year it gets, we're a better organization and our league is a stronger league.
And you talked about how you're kind of looking forward to the season being over, but at the same time, you guys had some players that played overseas. You had some guys that, were dealing with some injury stuff as well and turning over a roster somewhat and not sure how guys would gel. That kind of make you motivated going into this year to find a fantastic nucleus of guys to bring back, but also bring in some quality players as well. New guys like the one sitting to your left.
Yeah, definitely. When we were thinking about roster, obviously, we wanted talented players, but last year exposed some internal problems that just translated themselves to not a lot of maturity on the court, not a lot of maturity, not necessarily, the guys absolutely carried themselves as professionals, but a tough loss tended to linger. Whereas we needed a roster that had a little more experience, I think. Guys that have played in successful organizations at some level before, either professionally or college, that were a little more likely to be able to get off the mat if they get knocked down. And that was something that, looking back on last year, we struggled with. So some of our new faces come with that maturity and experience that I think is going to be valuable as we go this year because, hey, try as we might, every other team is also trying to get better too. So we have to continually up our game. And we do have some good foundational pieces back for us as well. But I'm really excited about some of the new faces.
And one of those guys is sitting, as I mentioned, to your left. And you talk about guys that have played in other organizations and played at a high level. Ron Washington joins us, everybody. And Ron has played over in Germany. You played college ball at Southwestern Christian University. How excited are you, Ron, to be able to play TBL basketball and play for the Leprechauns?
I'm really excited, especially with the group of guys we have since day one. I think Preston can tell you, we was in training camp talking about reading things, helping on defense. So it was a good group of guys from the beginning. I think we stay after practice. Preston could tell you, it's 5-6 of us shooting, just talking, laughing. They have to, really kick us out the gym. So, yeah, I love this group of guys. Probably the most talented group of guys I've played with, and I think we all just adjusting to each other, understanding that, okay, this may not be my night, but it's his night, and we understand that. And there's no animosity or any hatred towards it because in other organizations I've been in, it can be things like that. And I think this year will probably be, I don't know how it's been the last 2 years, but it won't be none of that because we all know the work we put in and the skill set we all have.
Do you think and you took the next question right out of my mouth, when I went over and watched a little bit of practice, it seems like you guys not only play hard, but it seems like you do play for each other and you seem to really like each other. I think that's important. Is that something that you found in your professional experience, but also in college too? Does that help? I'm guessing guys that like each other and want to be around each other and just work together.
Yeah, no, definitely. That definitely helps. A lot of groups I had, I'm not going to say we didn't like each other, but it would be like 2 or 3 guys who you could tell probably not clicking with the group. But I think for the most part, everybody's clicking. Everybody's laughing, joking, we having fun. But at the same time, we know this is a professional level, so we have to keep it at a professional level. We have to compete. And we might be one of the loudest TBL teams this year just with the way we communicate. As long as everybody's on the same page, I think we'll be a good team this year.
Everybody, before we hit record, I asked Ron maybe what helped him kind of stand out to Preston, and he was going to say his picture-perfect smile. And I'm all about that. He got the game in the smile department. If you can kind of take us behind the scenes a bit, what's it like the whole TBL experience and trying out and trying to impress some of the guys like Preston, guys and gals like Preston, and being able to find a home and a place where you fit?
Well, I'm new to the TBL, so all of this is kind of like new. It was kind of like, in a sense, nervous for me because it's something new, so I had a little anxiety coming to the situation. But I think over time during training camp was 3-4 days of competing. I didn't play my best, but I made sure that my presence was felt, like vocally, just making sure that we all on the same page, at least the team I'm on, and that we keep going because I know I just came back from Germany in December, so I took a couple weeks off, so I was a little rusty, but
a little jet lag too, right?
Yeah.
Getting back from another country and all.
Yeah, especially with the holidays, trying to see my family and everything. So I took a couple weeks off, but definitely just being a teammate, a good teammate. I think that's probably one thing that stood out to Coach B and Preston while I was during training camp.
Preston, we mentioned tongue-in-cheek about the smile, but what was it about Ron and guys like him? It seems like you've added a nucleus of guys like Ron that are great teammates and great guys and want to be working towards a similar goal, and that's to get wins and play quality basketball at the same time.
That's 100% it. Ron really impressed during training camp with his energy and enthusiasm. He can play. There's no doubt about that. But he does a lot of the little things. Talks on defense, rotates well on defense, dives on the floor for loose balls, doesn't quit when things are going poorly. Those are all things that were really highlights for him. And it's very apparent when you see him play that he's definitely a good player. And I did my background research and made sure that he was a good teammate as well. Really, the returning player that had the most to do with bringing Ron to the team is Deontay Raines. Deontay spoke very, very highly of you and said, hey, this is the guy that we need to fill some of the holes from year 2 into year 3. So that goes a long way, and I trust Deontay's judgment. So it was an easy choice to say, sure, let's bring him in and take a look. And 10 minutes into watching him play,
yes,
I
please.
knew I had our guy.
Yes, please. Yeah. Everybody, we're talking with Ron Washington and Preston Myers of the Lebanon Leprechauns, your Lebanon Leprechauns season tipping off later on this week at home at the Farmers Bank Fieldhouse. New digs, new team for the most part, and you guys have kind of a renewed attitude for success. If we can kind of talk about what's the transition been like, because the first 2 seasons for Leprechaun basketball were at Lebanon High School, and then now they're new digs, and you don't have to tape the lines down, the 3-point line and the charge, the arc, and that type of thing. How have the new digs been treating you guys so far?
So from a venue perspective, we really like some of the things that the high school had to offer. Mm-hmm. We also really like some of the things that Farmers Bank Fieldhouse has to offer. One thing that really got me excited about the new property out there near the highway was the visibility with outside communities coming into Lebanon. You know, hey, here's a family that's here for an AAU tournament from Brownsburg. Oh, look at what we've discovered. we're seeing professional players and dancers practicing just this last week. I sold a couple of tickets to people that had never heard of us just by virtue of being there. And, that's really some of the exciting parts about that new venue. Now, that being said, there are going to be some little issues that we're going to have to work through. We got pretty routined and used to using Lebanon High School, which is a great facility. We're going to have to figure out how to best operate in this new place. And, truth be told, the paint's still drying in a lot of spots. So
literally,
there are this first week, we've got one home game on March 1st. And then we're not back at home until the weekend of St. Patrick's Day. So my hunch is, however the first game goes, we'll be taking those next couple of weeks to reassess, and maybe our best ideas need to be changed. Maybe some stuff works really well. Maybe some stuff we need to reapproach. So it could be a little bit of a learning curve, this first one, but it's definitely a ticket you don't want to miss. Every Leprechaun ticket is the best entertainment money can buy here locally, in my opinion. But, this especially with the more limited seating, that's something that I would highly encourage folks. Go seek out those tickets online ahead of time, because we are absolutely going to sell out some games this year.
Yeah, that supply and demand you mentioned, playing previously at the high school, there were seats to be had and didn't have to worry about capacity and then having tickets be sold out. That could be a real possibility and something you guys have to plan for at the Fieldhouse. We've kind of talked offline, everybody, about the possibility of temporary seating being brought in to help accommodate the extra crowd that's expected to see Ron and the rest of the guys on the court, along with the dance team and Lucky and all those things that go along with a great show on hardwood. But that's something you guys are trying to deal with, right? The seating issue, the spacing issue of it all?
It's definitely going to be a challenge, and it's going to be something new. We're going to try to implement some of the things that have worked for us in the past, but we're going to have to come up with some new crowd control measures, and just get an idea of our count every night. We've got a little over 1,000 seats at Farmers Bank. There have been some nights I remember a game against Toledo specifically that we were standing room only in a 3,200 seat Rosensteel gymnasium.
Yeah.
So some of those things just are not going to work. I can put temporary seats in, but if they're full, they're full.
Yeah.
We've got a little bit of mezzanine space that we can maybe utilize for observation, but, it's really going to be a challenge to, say, hey, I'm sorry, you're going to have to come back another night because we're going to have to turn people away at the door potentially, which that's exciting. We think it'll be a great atmosphere, but I'm a small business owner. At the end of the day, I don't want to make anybody disappointed. If they come expecting a seat, it's not going to be as easy as just walking into the high school gym. Yeah. So that's kind of my fair warning to everyone. That being said, tickets are available through our website, leprechaunnews.com. You can get season tickets still. You can get individual game tickets. And that's what I would highly recommend.
Just to lock in your spot.
Lock it in.
To reserve your spot.
Lock it in, because there are going to definitely be some games. And unfortunately, the nature of this is we don't know which days those are going to be. But there will be a day where I promise you we'll have to turn away a big chunk of our crowd that thinks they're just going to walk in. This first weekend coincides with the state boys basketball tournament.
Yeah, sectional time, and the Tigers of Lebanon play on Friday evening as well.
So this is actually a perfect opening night for us, because some of our natural basketball crowd is going to go support the Tigers, and that's going to maybe suppress us just a bit and help us iron out some of those kinks.
Gotcha. And Ron, how important is it for you guys to kind of walk around this new facility to all the team? This is the first year for the Farmers Bank Fieldhouse, but being able to, are you kind of picturing what it'll be like having all those seats, those 1,000 and change, all the seats filled, and being able to put a quality product on the floor to entertain them and have them be as loud as you guys want it to be?
I kind of looked at the games last year, a few games last year, and I saw how it was a lot of people there. So that was my main thing coming in this year. I want to do the same exact thing, bring the same amount of people. But like President said, it's 1,000 people. So we know that sometimes we're going to have to push people away. We're going to have to do those things. But I'm definitely excited to come into the new Fieldhouse. I think we were like the first people or the first group of people to come in there. And you could tell that, like you said, it was still fresh paint. You could smell the paint. The floor was
Has
still
that new
sticky.
gym smell.
Yeah, it was still sticky. So we know it's going to be some things that we got to fix throughout the season. But I think we're prepared and we're looking forward to the new things that we got to do just to help the city out, expand the city and things like that.
You mentioned the kind of new gym feel. What was it like to be able to be one of the first footprints to get out on there and play a little bit, to hang on the rim a little bit, to see the ball go through the net, that type of thing? What was it like to be able to break in a facility like that?
I think any older basketball player, when you get in your like 20s, they would say it's kind of a little rough because you have to break the nets in, so the ball gets stuck every time you make a shot.
So it kind of get like
the rim isn't as loose as it should be. So we're the first group that really playing on the main court, the court that has the NBA line, has the regular 94 feet. So it's going to be challenging. It has been challenging trying to stretch the nets out, but as much practice we've been 3 hours, 3-4 times a week, I think we're breaking the gym right in. And yeah, we're definitely getting very comfortable, as we had a good practice. The last 2 practices, we had a good practice on the main court where you could tell we're getting like comfortable making shots, the lights, the background, because all those things really, as a professional basketball player, matters to you.
And if we can kind of talk about the roster a little bit, we talked about Deontay Raines, one of the fan favorites for our Leprechauns, and we're giving you a glowing recommendation, and that being echoed with Preston 5-10 minutes after chatting with you. Other guys on the team that you enjoy playing with, and guys that we should get used to hearing their names and rallying behind, scrolling down the roster. Not only see you wearing number 11, and that's a little snake eyes action, but Zacharias is back. Guys that we've seen before, Alex Cole. Other ones that you recommend us getting to know and being ready to get behind. All the guys, of course, but guys that we should be ready for?
Yeah, I think everybody has a special talent on this team. Everybody does something unique that another person probably doesn't do, which is good for every team. A player who's really stood out to me probably is Xavier Turner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's special in the sense of he just knows how to play the game of basketball. There's not too many people who understand the game of basketball like him. And he's 5'7", but when I mean at 5'7", he's a good basketball player. He's probably one of the most talented guards I played with, in a sense of just understanding your teammates, knowing where your teammates want the ball and things like that. And he's a leader, but a quiet leader. When he speaks, everybody looks, everybody respect him. Another guy I'll probably say is Deontay. Deontay is a workhorse. Deontay's probably working out as we speak. But he moves on the right time. He moves with God. He moves with doing things the right way. You never see Deontay doing something that isn't his character. So I think as long as we follow those 2 guys' leads, in a sense, obviously everybody's going to lead in a sense, but follow those 2 guys, I think we're going to be in a good position just to be good people and a good basketball team.
And now this is your chance, and we talked about before we hit record, this is a chance to kind of let people in behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. Is there, as I'm scrolling through, I can maybe take a guess, but is there anybody that's like the team clown, the guy that's going to play some jokes, who's going to bring the brevity, bring the kind of lightheartedness, or the first one to joke around and act a fool to make you guys laugh and kind of take the stress off?
It's crazy to say. I think all the big guys you could say,
Really?
like Alex Brown, Cole.
And guys, remember Alex? He's a 7 foot tall shot blocking dunker extraordinaire post guy. Yeah, he's one of the comedians?
Yes.
Right.
He brings out that energy every time we come in practice. AC, he's a great person. He always joking around with Coach. Then it's me and Kyrie Shelton. So I think all the big guys kind of bring a little joyness and different attitude because, big guys are always goofy, playing around. But at the same time, we're very serious, in a sense. So I think us 4 will probably be the most goofiest guys, but we also know at the same time when it's time to get serious and like compete at a high level.
And Preston, is that one of the things that you like about this team? It seems like as Ron's saying, you being able to joke around when it's time to do that, and when there's some kind of lightheartedness that you can do, but then when it's time to get serious, you lock it in and you do what needs to get done.
Being a Leprechaun is as much a mentality as it is just a spot on a team. We're looking for guys that are great in the community. We're looking for guys that have big personalities. I think that helps make a connection to the fan in the stand. Fans in the stands appreciate that. Nothing's better than watching our players interact with the kids after the game, on the court, high fives and handshakes and hugs. And, that's wonderful. It is a special place. It is a special identity that being a Leprechaun has, as opposed to just another guy on another team. I try to talk to my fellow compatriots in the TBL about embracing sort of that community first mentality. And I think the teams that have done it have definitely reaped the rewards of it. I think the teams that have resisted that have struggled because of it. So yeah, we want to win games as much as anybody else. Very competitive, but at the same time, it's bigger than just basketball for the Leprechauns. We're here for the community and for the kids and for the crowd. And, there are a lot of pieces of our organization that if you take the time to learn some of our backstories and some of the reasons why we are doing this, almost everybody to a man that puts on the Leprechaun jersey or staff polo shirt. Each one of those people has a huge part to play in how successful we've been. And the other group that we haven't talked about much at all is our other team. The Emerald Spirit Dancers. Dancers are fantastic. And I would challenge anyone to outwork those young ladies as far as what they do. And everybody is asking, are we going to see the same great show out of them? And frankly, yes. It only gets better every year for that group of dancers. And like I said, Ron, you may think you know what goes on in Lebanon, but you just wait until you see the whole thing in action. You're going to be shocked.
That was going to be one of my questions as we're kind of taking the final lap here. Everybody on this episode of the Lebanon podcast, we've got Ron Washington and Preston Myers with your Lebanon Leprechauns tipping off their season coming up on Friday. After the games, it's the most special, like goosebump feeling you'll have as a player. I'm sure it has happened to you as a high school player, collegiate player, maybe even playing over in Germany too. But Preston said the little kids and the way that you Leprechaun players are embraced. I mean, even before you've played your first official game, they're going to come up to you. They're going to want the selfie and all that stuff. Have you heard about our fans after a game? Because you're going to get mobbed in a good way, not the court storming stuff where a Duke player gets hurt or anything like that. This is like they're going to come up and love on you, want to hear your life stories, selfies, autographs, all that stuff. Have you heard about that yet?
I've experienced it already.
Oh,
in
nice.
A sense.
Okay.
I've been to the gas station, I've been to Domino's, getting stuff, and people are already just saying, "You're a Leprechaun, aren't you?" So we having dialogue just because of that. But I've experienced similar things, but I think it'd definitely be different. Me being in a more small town and a town that embraced the Leprechaun, so I think I'll be looking forward to that definitely, especially in hopefully seeing the kids around town and they just run up to me and give me a hug. That's probably be the best feeling because you see what you're doing in the community. So that's what I really want to affect everybody. When I come around, I want to do something that nobody has really done. Like nobody has really done really have a one-on-one relationship with these kids. Maybe not as personal as it should be, but definitely have them on social media, have dialogues with them, and just make them want to explore the Leprechauns and basketball more. And even if I have to, even if we have opportunities to do the little brother, big brother thing that we talked about the other day, that would be something I'm definitely looking forward to. Definitely.
That's awesome and a perfect fit for our community. If you don't mind me asking, where's home for you? Big city, small town?
Big city. Well, not the biggest city, but
bigger than Lebanon.
Yeah. I'm from Jersey City, New Jersey, probably 2-3 miles away from New York City.
Okay.
Population around 300,000, maybe.
A few more than Lebanon.
Maybe, I think it's the biggest city in New Jersey or the second biggest. I'm used to always going outside and everybody knowing me because I was like the city basketball player around town. But I think this would definitely be different in a sense because these kids haven't seen me grow up. My group at home seen me grow up. So I think this would definitely be a more heartwarming experience throughout this time at Leprechaun.
Thoughts on Midwestern hospitality? Have you felt it so far? You kind of feel
Definitely. So I went to school in right outside of St. Louis, Godfrey, Illinois, with Deontay. So that's how I met Deontay, our strong relationship. We kept in contact over these years. So I kind of know about the Midwest, but over time, I think I'm going to get more familiar with it. I haven't been to downtown yet, Indy yet. So I want to definitely go see a couple of things, see y'all food, Yeah,
I might need to see some Pacers stuff too. Halliburton guy is pretty good and fun to watch.
Yeah, definitely. Special.
And he's an Indiana kid too, and growing up in Anderson and doing all that stuff. And so that's, I'm guessing, kind of helped your friendship with and kind of getting used to the Midwestern stuff and that feel with someone like Deontay.
Yeah, Deontay has helped me a lot just with the team and everything. Knowing that I know Deontay before coming in this, it made me way more comfortable in the sense of he's going to help me at the end of the day. I know I have someone who's there for me mentally and physically, spiritually, everything. So that's definitely a great feeling knowing that I have former teammate. Kyrie is also my former teammate. We all played on the same team. So, and just building a good relationship with Xavier, AB, all the guys. So I think that's definitely a good experience while I'm in Lebanon. Hopefully this won't be my last time here.
Yeah, we're already kind of talking about that. Everybody, before we hit record, it's, thinking about season number 2. And everybody, if you want to get Leprechauns tickets, you can go to leprechaunnews.com. And as Preston said, you can get single game tickets. You can also get the season tickets, which are the ones that he recommends to guarantee getting your seat to all the Leprechauns games because they will go fast. If someone has never been to a Leprechauns game, I'll give you the last word here, Preston. If someone has never been to a game before, what are you hoping and what are you kind of forecasting that they will experience when they go watch the Leprechauns play?
Joe, it's really pro basketball you can touch. You'll be right on top of the court, and you will see some of the best athletes in the entire world. I got an incredible letter from a Leprechaun fan not too long ago, maybe a month now, and he just a little short handwritten note and said, "Hey, I went to the Pacers game tonight. And I left at halftime because I was too bored. You've spoiled us. Go Leprechauns." That is quite a statement.
No pressure, Ron. No pressure.
No pressure. But our goal is to fill every moment of that game with either great basketball, great entertainment, or great fun. And that's exactly what you'll get, from a mascot willing to set himself on fire if I asked him to a dance team that's second to none, to players that really appreciate the competition, but also the environment that we've gone to build. And, you will see something new every single day that you come to a Leprechauns game. Sometimes it's the most incredible play you've ever seen live. Sometimes it's the absolute worst call you've ever seen live. I saw 3 or 4 of those last year, actually.
Yeah.
But, you just never know what you're going to get. Last year we grabbed people out of the stands and dressed them up as unicorns and made them gallop around
I did not know that.
No, of course you didn't.
Well, you're going to be the first. So we signed you up and you're going to have to, I think, do that.
I'm going to be honest with you, Ron. If you don't play enough minutes, I will find a way for the fans to get to know you one way or the other.
There's no way he's fitting in that costume at 6'9".
One size fits all, Joe. One size fits all. So we've got, the Leprechaun shenanigans are never ending, and we're always looking for new, exciting, interesting ways to give away a t-shirt or a pizza from one of our vendors or something. You know what I mean? So it's so much more than basketball. I feel terrible for all these teams that don't have the creative vision that can make this special. Think the old ABA. And, everybody always kind of compares us to the ridiculousness of that Will Ferrell movie.
Yeah, the Tropics.
Semi-Pro.
Yeah, the Tropics, or what was it?
The Flint Tropics. Yeah. And there's a lot of truth in that movie, believe it or not. Obviously there's a lot of it that doesn't ring true at all. But, if we're going to be successful, it's got to be more than basketball. It's got to be a great entertaining ticket, affordable for everybody, and something that you just don't want to miss. And as long as we kind of stay in that same price point of going to see the movies, go out to the movies, go out to the basketball game, I think we're in a good spot there.
Yeah. And my last question to both of you guys here, and I appreciate you guys being here on this episode of the podcast. What does success look like? And Ron, I know there's probably aspirations of maybe moving up the ladder or continuing a basketball career or things like that. What does success look like for you as a player for a successful year here with the Leprechauns?
I think the biggest thing is winning the day. Like, I think sometimes as people, we get overwhelmed and think about the future too much. And I think if we just embrace the day and get better every single day as a person, as a basketball player, everything else will fall in. So, yeah, I think definitely just crafting on our skills, crafting on our mind, reading, learning things. I think that would be a successful season in a sense of if we continue to get better every day with this group of guys will definitely be up for a championship in a sense. And I think that's the best thing about the group of guys, definitely.
Okay. And success for you, Preston, kind of what you're talking about earlier is not only on the court, but off, just kind of a total thing. I guess you'd take a championship too.
I would definitely take a championship. That would be just fine by me. But honestly, last year we didn't have a very good season on the court. But when you really think about it, the only way the Leprechauns lost at all last year was on the scoreboard. We won in the community. We won with our fans. We won doing right by the players. We won every way you can really measure it, with the one exception of occasionally we got outscored for the game. But if that's a failure for us, we'll take it. We can succeed in a lot of ways. And just having a guy here that's, come from, the edge of New York City to find a little bit of home, at least for the short term here, talking about wanting to give back to his community, through a mentoring organization or, positivity. We've already won. We haven't even played yet.
Yeah. Awesome. And again, everybody, you can get Leprechauns tickets by going on to leprechaunnews.com and looking for them there. You might be able to get some at the door, but again, those are first come, first serve, and you may miss out because the seats this year are a little bit more than 1,000. So we look forward to seeing our team on the court. We look forward to seeing you there as well. Guys, appreciate you being here on the podcast. Thanks for getting us geared up and ready.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Always a pleasure, Joe.
And hopefully you're more excited to get the season going because you've had a mic shoved in your face and you talk about all those things. Everybody, thank you for listening to this episode of the Love in Lebanon podcast. More episodes are coming your way. Go Leprechauns. Take care.